The artwork for Anime Podcasters is provided by GoProkyo. Please go follow him at GoProkyo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Anime Podcasters on my new setup in my new apartment. This is insane. I'm with GoProkyo. I'm so nervous, guys, right now. I can't even explain. I have roommates, I have neighbors. I got to be like more conscious of my sound, but we're still going to podcast. We're here with GoProkyo.
And Jaian is such a loud gentleman as is. Like, he's already got so much to say. Like, he's so energetic. It's just like, doesn't matter what he says, he has to be very loud.
Yeah, so I'm going to be sounding a lot more reserved on this podcast. Just this, let me break into it, guys. Give me a couple of podcasts and we'll make it sound good. So, Kyo, what are we doing today?
We're talking about Death Note, the live-action movie released by Netflix.
You mean the steaming pile of crap?
Aw, come on. Come on. It can't be that bad. It's not that bad.
It was
Come on,
really
man.
bad. It was really, really bad. I don't know what movie you watched.
All right, I already know what camp Jaian is in.
Yeah, I know what. Yeah, I don't like your camp.
You're just like, now you are in a concentrated camp in which you must love the new Death Note movie. However, you despise this new movie. From what I can tell.
Okay, despise is a hard word. I think it was really bad. I think it was really bad, though. I really think it was really bad. I don't even know why we did those update podcasts. I don't think it was worth our time. So far, yeah. So my first thoughts, like, I watched this movie, I was just confused as to, like, Light Yagami was not the Light Yagami I knew. I know it's the Americanized, fresher version, but this was just bad all across the board. I thought the acting was very forced, and they had these very cringy moments, like, this is Kira, and I was like, oh no. Weird Ryuk was barely present in the movie. I felt like I barely saw him. Light's relationship with his dad was not the one I was expecting. Just this completely caught me off guard and was horrible. I just really did not like it. What about you, Kyo?
All right, so I do agree with you. There were some parts that were not the best. I do think that one of the biggest things that I noticed was there's only two members of Light's family. There's him and then there's his dad. In the show, we have his mother, his sister, and his dad. So that's a big difference. But ultimately, I think it's an understandable change because really the mother and the daughter did not make very much of a contribution in the show. They only made like a couple one-off appearances here and there just to like show like their child is amazing, so that sort of thing. I will agree with you. Some of the acting, I feel like there were some parts where it was really off. There were some parts where I was like, this is not Death Note. This is not what I wanted to see. But there were some parts that I feel were so good and just really stood out among the rest of the film. But I will agree with you. Overall, it's not a perfect film. It's not necessarily even a good film. But I do have to say that I think that the effort was very evident in this film, but it didn't come across the way that we were hoping for it to. Like, for a split second, I was thinking, like, when he said Ryuk instead of Ryuk, I was just like, oh no, I was like, oh, Jaian's gonna hate this, and then he corrects him, and I'm like, thank you, Ryuk, thank you so much. So, like, they've got name pronunciations down, some of them have different names, and it's understandable, because, like, these are different, like, nationalities for different characters. Really, there's not an only thing like that's wrong with this film. There are quite a few things that are wrong, but
yeah.
Let's just I'm gonna let you guide this. Like, what do you want to start with here?
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, there was one scene that was so horrible to me that I just can't oh my god. It was the Ferris wheel scene when Light's falling down and Mia's falling down, and I don't know who did the musical score on this thing. But that, like, rock, like, I don't want to live without you. Oh my, no, get out of here. That was horrible. Like,
okay.
That was bad.
I understand. Like, I think the rest of the music, like the background, like the instrumental stuff, was okay.
The OSTs, yeah, but
it wasn't incredible, but it was like it matched.
Who listens to that?
Who was that song? Who even was that? That's not like
I don't
anybody.
know.
No, that's not even current. I don't think. Like that's not even classic music.
No, not
Like,
even, not
it's
even.
nothing. It's obviously like some underground like singer that they just got for the movie, and they're just like, oh, this is gonna be my big break. It's not gonna be your big break. Nobody's gonna want to listen to you after this movie.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Light is just stupid in my opinion. Okay, like
This is not the same. Like, it's evident this character is supposed to be smart. Like, he's literally getting paid to do the proper answers on everybody else's, like, tests and so
book
on.
smart does not equal street smart. Okay.
Yeah, not necessarily.
And Light
like,
not gonna be
he
the
has
opposite
to.
of that.
Yeah, Light has to be much more physical in this film. But in the anime, he was only expected to do so much. A lot of the show, more or less, is them behind, like, a computer screen or something, or just like behind a television screen of some kind. They're always like in headquarters, or they're always like in a room or something. There's very little action in the original Death Note series.
Definitely.
And I feel like they wanted to step it up a little bit. In a way, some of the parts that they did step up worked really well. Like the way that they visualized the deaths of the Death Note victims was really well executed. I think that the decapitation was very creative. Like the way that they
they had good
did,
causes of death. They definitely had
yeah,
good
the
causes of death.
yeah, all the deaths were very creative and very like they were executed excellently. I think that this was the first time that I saw like a lot of blood in like like in an anime film. Like this was, oh my gosh, like I was I was psychotically happy to see like blood for a change. Like I'm sorry, but like that's just a different
like,
change.
I feel like the thoughts these characters had and the way they went about things was just so stupid. Like perfect example, like Mia being like, okay, oh obviously like you're being tailed by the FBI. Let me tase one of them, okay, and then have him write everyone's name in the death note, and then have them publicly walk off a building and fall off like the building in like the most attention grabbing way possible. Like that was so stupid. Like why the hell are you making it such an obvious like cause of death? That was just completely stupid to me. And then another thing I absolutely hated, okay? The freaking scene where Light is in gym class, right? And he's writing in his death note, he's like reading the death note. There's no bag next to him. He just has his death note out in public, right? And Mia's like, oh, what do you have? He's like, I can't tell you. And then he's like, I have a death note that can kill anyone. Let me show it to you.
It's just like, I can't tell you. I'm gonna tell you.
It was horrible.
That's like, a cartoon. That's like a parody joke. That's something that I would execute in a parody. Like if I was doing like a Death Note abridged or something. It was just like, I can't tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. Like, yeah, that's a fucking joke. That's not like human dialogue. That doesn't make sense.
100% agree with you. 100% agree with you.
I completely agree with you on that one. I have to agree. Like a lot of the banter and the talk between these two characters is absolutely awful. Like,
oh yeah, oh no. Definitely.
I think the actors are trying their best, but I feel like a huge part of it is the script that they're given and the way that their director is telling them to go about this. Like, it's not. And here's another thing, like the director of this film has very little credit to his name. I looked up his IMDb and he doesn't have very many films on his credit.
And he's been like on Twitter, like he's been like the people have been tweeting stuff at him. He's like he does not know how to handle social media, in my opinion. Like it's just he's like. He's only like tweeting out the really good reviews of his movie, and he's like, maybe there's gonna be a sequel. I was like, oh, you just no. Like,
if there is a sequel, please improve. Like, if they're gonna do a sequel, I'm okay with that.
There is going to be one, I'm sure. The cliffhanger, dude. Like, no way. There's not gonna be a sequel after that huge cliffhanger. And I want to go back.
I don't know. Like there was plenty of shows or like plenty of bad movies that never got sequels, but they all ended on cliffhangers. The Super Mario movie ended on a cliffhanger. Avatar: The Last Airbender ended on a cliffhanger. A lot of the really bad ones end on cliffhangers just because they want us to like be interested in the next film. But I won't lie. Like there are some. Again, like I've said before, there are some parts that I'll say that I like, but we're gonna focus on the stuff that we hate absolutely first, I suppose.
Oh yeah. Another thing I want to say about Light as a character, I feel like the only thing that motivates him is like maybe getting with like Mia because of the fact that he has a killer notebook. Like he's not thinking with his brain, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I totally agree with you. I feel like the actual motivation that Light has is sort of prevalent, but it's only like amplified a little bit because like a hot girl's interested in him at this point.
And that makes him a horrible Death Note user because he's going to be very emotional and not rational. And we saw that throughout the entire freaking movie.
I won't lie, like I think that he was a little smarter than we kind of let him
Expected?
on to be.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I think that you're right in saying that Mia is the stupidest character in the film because of the stuff that she's doing. I think she's more emotionally unstable than he is because
Right.
he's actually trying to think, like, when he's not using it, he's trying to plan how he's going to use it. Even though he's not like actually doing anything with it, he's at least planning, like at least there's something that he's working on. At least he's like trying to map everything out in his head before he just goes
Absolutely.
ahead and does stuff. So that's sort of
Absolutely.
an element of the original Light that we have, but it's not close enough to what we're wanting.
Oh no, definitely not, definitely not. And I think that another thing that I found like so stupid, like these guys are a team, right? Like they're working together, right?
All three of them?
No, like Mia and Light are working together in this movie. They're a
Right,
team.
right.
They're a duo. Then why the hell do you write each other's names in the Death Note? What? Why? That's just so stupid. And I'm just so frustrated at this point. And I want to go to another point after that, but like that was just the dumbest thing ever. I was like, she's your ally. Oh, okay, I'll kill her. Like, what the hell? Like, no, don't kill your ally. Like, you guys are being selfish. Like, this guy was like acting like a teenager. But like Light Yagami that we know doesn't act like a teenager. He's brilliant, but this Light is just like I feel like he's like in kindergarten. Like I just you know what?
So
Okay.
triggered.
Yeah, I know. I have more stuff I hate, but I think we should mention this. I actually enjoyed L. I think the character put in the actor put in a good effort, and he resembled L. He wasn't the best L possible, but he resembled L.
You are right. I do have to say that this L was not my favorite either. If I ever want to see like a pasty or antisocial type of character, I think that this L represented antisocial a little better than L did, but or like the. I think he did it better than the anime did, but like that's the only thing I can think of that he did better. But the thing that drove me craziest is that L has a meltdown and he grabs a gun. That's not L. L doesn't use weaponry. L is an intellectual. He's not a physical, hands-on type of person. Yes, he had the fight with Light, but that was just between the two of them. He's not going out and chasing him in the streets. It's just the two of them in one setting where they have to be like in the same room and they're trying to discuss like the possibilities of like who Kira is, and he's just like sort of in a slump and he's just trying to figure out like, is he wrong? Is everybody else wrong? But with this L, when he loses Watari, he goes absolutely insane. That's not L. Yes, L is supposed to be human, but L is sort of... The thing that really fascinated people about L was the fact that he's disconnected as a person. He's not as much of a person... Like, he's not a... He lacks the certain part about humans that makes us want to be social.
Right.
And he's more focused on deducing and trying to understand things logically.
And
He's not emotionally driven.
Yeah, but talking about his deduction skills, this is a point I wanted to touch. Like, he has amazing deduction skills in this movie. Like, he literally like figures out who Light is and like who Kira is in like 5 scenes. I feel like it was super fast.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Light is killer in Japanese. No, Kira is killer. No, Light, blah blah blah. And he figures it out, and he's like, I think the killer is is the chief's son. Like, boom, done, friendship. Like. And I feel like because of Light's like stupid ideas, like killing like Kenny Doyle, like someone you know, like someone that attends your school, someone who's very close to your social circle of friends, was so stupid. And then like killing that Seattle guy and like seeing him have the weird behavior before like killing someone within your city, like that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What else did you want to mention here?
Oh man, like I think I definitely agree with you. The portrayal of L is not horrible. I think that I think that he did his best, and I think that, especially with what he was given, it's obvious that this is not the best rendition of L, and this is. It's obvious that they're trying to do something different, but they're.
Cut to 15 comments going,
But Kale, this is the fresher Americanized version of Death Note.
Just because. Yeah. I'm just going to say, just because it's.
get off my
fresh,
channel.
Yeah. Just because it's fresh and quote unquote original, that doesn't make it L. That's creating a. They're basically trying to create, like, with. It seems like they're straying too far from their source material. When you do an adaptation, you have to make certain changes. Like, if you're taking something from a book, there's a lot more talking you can do in a book. But when you're in a film, you have to use visuals a lot more. You have to transfer from text to visuals. Like, you have to transfer from complete, like, just words on a piece of paper and then turn that into a vision, like a set and some actors and props and all that sort of thing. And there's a lot more to doing an adaptation than just making a character seem like a previous character. And I feel like this film really does not do very well in updating the characters and, like, taking parts out that made sense. But at the same time, the original Death Note series is practically a masterpiece.
This movie literally contradicts itself.
Uh-huh.
This movie. Okay, remember when Light says, Ryuk, I would write your name in the Death Note next time you do something stupid. And Ryuk says, the only person that could, like, that's tried that before, like, or like someone who's tried that before, they only managed to get to 2 letters. Remember this whole scene, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Literally, in the beginning of the movie, Light opens the Death Note and it says, Ryuk cannot be trusted, all written out in the Death Note. Meaning someone wrote Ryuk in the Death Note.
Oh my god, I didn't think about that.
But Ryuk
I
said
thought
no
it was
one
I thought it was written, like, in the section where the rules were.
I mean, it's still a page from the Death Note, meaning you could still kill with it.
So, like, if you wrote a name on one of the instruction pages, it would still be effective?
I think it would, because it's a page from the Death Note.
Huh. I see that. That does make sense, but
Think about it. If you take a clipping from the Death Note, and let's say you take, like, a little corner piece from the rule page, right, where there's, like, not a single letter written there because the rule finished a little bit before, so you still have, like, a blank spot, and you take that blank piece of paper and you wrote someone's name on that blank piece of paper, someone would still die.
right.
So you see what I mean? So that was just I looked at that. I saw it right away. I was like, that's stupid. That's really stupid. Like, this movie, they're not even doing their own research.
Right.
I have another point. I don't know if you had something else you wanted to bring up before that.
Go on ahead. Go on ahead.
Okay. The other point I want to say is the rules and the way they're switching them around, and, like, they have these new rules added to the Death Note, which I found so stupid. Modifying the rules from the Death Note, I don't think was a good idea at all. And even before the movie was released, I saw on, like, the Facebook page wrote, like, Rule 26, and they wrote, like, this like stupid, like, thing, like, I forget what it was, and then I looked up Rule 26 in the Death Note. It's not even that. They're just, like, they were just choosing random rule numbers and just adding, like conditions to the death. And, like, one of the dumbest rule I think was definitely the one where if you burn the person's page and they come back to life, or, like, that if you burn the person's page, like, might as well introduce the life eraser at that point. There's a reason why the life eraser stayed in the original, like, Death Note manga, and, like, not even when Light, like, the original prequel, and why we never saw it again, because it wasn't good to make the cut. And having the burning page, so it's like, it's not good, so, like, they didn't put it in the main series, but you take something that's similar and put it in this movie. Like,
right.
Burning a page is so stupid of the Death Note. Like, there's literally even there's even literally a rule in the Death Note. One of the rules says, once the victim's name, cause of death, or in situation of death have been written down in the Death Note, this death will still take place even if that Death Note, or the part of the Death Note in which it has been written, is destroyed. For example, burned into ashes before the stated time of death. So there's even a freaking rule saying you can't burn. You can't burn it. Oh, man. Do you have anything else you wanted to add, Gio?
No, not necessarily. I feel like if I talked any more about some of these, I would just be harping on some of the same points that you just brought up. So
okay,
we can go on ahead. And
we have
move
some
on.
questions to get to. I asked for some questions right before we got on, like 10 minutes before, and we managed to get a couple questions. So,
right.
Did you want to say your final thoughts, and then we'll go into questions?
On the movie?
Yeah, final thoughts on the movie, then we'll go into questions.
Well, I felt like the film was not the worst thing I've seen, but it definitely needed some
Improvements.
yes, definitely some improvements, but the thing that I feel needed to be changed the most was just the structure of the story. I did like the how quick they got to finding out that Light was Kira, but I liked Mia even less than I liked Misa from the original series. But I have to say, my favorite part of this whole film was easily Ryuk. He was easily the best.
But he was barely
best
there.
made. Yeah. Regardless, he did. It's not about. To me,
That's how
it's
bad
not
the
about
movie
how
was. That's how bad it was. He was barely there, and that was your favorite part.
I'm saying, like, it's not about how long he was on there. It's how well he did while he was on there.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I feel like Willem Dafoe was the best casting choice for this. And if they do the sequel, fine by me, as long as we get more Ryuk and less Nat Wolf.
Oh my god, no more Nat Wolf.
Yeah, please.
all right. Let's give my final thoughts. I mean, I feel the same way as Kyo. This was very disappointing for me. Very disappointing. I expected something way better. I think my expectations were way too high for this. It did not reflect the Death Note that I knew and loved. He went for a different angle. I respect the attempt. I think it's ballsy to take on this big of a freaking series and do something. I respect that. Adam. I really do. And I don't mean to be hating on your movie, but at the same time, it was just very disappointing is the best word. All right, let's get to you guys' questions. Let's see. We got some Facebook questions. There's a lot of repetitive questions. Anyways, my little brother actually asks, "Is it actually worth watching?" No, it's not. No.
To a degree, I think it's not worth watching. But if you're just there to see stuff being brought from the pages of the manga and into real life, it's not a horrible watch. I mean, I feel like some people from like a mainstream audience could possibly get into it, but I feel like those who are super fans of Death Note, they're not gonna like it, and I think most Death Note fans aren't gonna like it. I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna watch this again because I honestly won't, but I'll probably just watch compilations of Ryuk's scenes because that was honestly the only good part, and it seems like yeah,
that was great.
It seems like he's the only one that's really getting into a character. It feels like Nat Wolf is just playing like a child, or just playing a teenager. It doesn't seem like everybody's being getting into their characters. It feels like Willem Dafoe was the only one who really brought the character to life.
Yeah. That's a good take on the question. My answer was
ultimately my answer is going to be watch it if you're curious, and then that's it. Never watch it again. But honestly, the less
expectations. Go into it with low expectations.
Yeah, but the less the less support you give it, the less likely it is to get a sequel. But the only problem is that since it's such a big name and so many people were ready to either hate on it or really hoping that maybe it's the first good anime film or something, but honestly, the more attention you give it, the more likely it is to get a sequel. So if you guys don't want a sequel, it may be best that you just don't watch it.
I've seen so many people on the subreddit for Death Note just oh, I hate this movie, oh my god, why did I waste so much of my, that's an hour and 40 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
I'm just I have life is short, guys. Just an hour and 40 minutes is not too much to take out of the 80 years you're probably gonna have. So just live with it. Jesus Christ.
All right, next question is from Megs Harper, and she asks, everybody is saying it was terrible. Cough me. Sorry, but I'd like to know what did in all caps, what did you like about it?
All right, I'm gonna let you go first because I think I've said a lot of my thoughts on what I did like. So you've been saying a lot of your negative stuff so far. I want to hear the good stuff that you liked about it.
Okay, I don't know what I liked about it. I honestly don't know, and I feel like I'm being forced to pick something just to answer a question at this point. But if I really had to pick something, what I liked about it, I don't. I can't think of something that I liked about it. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it.
All right. Well, would you
You
mind
know
if
what?
I gave
Okay, I'll
like
tell
a
you what I
small
liked.
list?
You know what
okay.
I liked?
Okay. Go for it. Go for it.
I found something. That scene where Al has the gun pointing at Light, and he finally catches him, and he's like, and that guy comes out of the restaurant, and he's like, that's Kira. I'm with the police. Blah blah blah. You have to believe. And the guy just smacks him over, like he's like, for Kira. That was pretty good. I gotta give it to you. That's what I like. That's what I like.
All right.
Okay.
May I give like a small list of like what I think is really good about the film?
I feel like it's gonna be a big list, but okay.
Okay, it's not very big. I have like 5 things I can think
Okay,
of.
real. Next question.
Okay, come on, man.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
All right. Number 5, like the first thing I can think of is Ryuk. Number 4 is Ryuk. No. But in all seriousness, number 5 is Ryuk because like the technology of what brought him to life was really well done. The performance was really good. The voice was perfect. I feel like his character was the best represented. Like if you want to see this film for anybody, just see it for Ryuk, or at least just look up the scenes on YouTube or something. Like he is so well done. And let's see. The fourth thing I think I like is the fact that it's not holding anything back. It is allowing us to see like more gore. It's not too bloody. It's not Mortal Kombat bloody, but it is like a fair amount of gore, like the amount of gore you would expect from something that's like realistic. Like it does sort of go from comic like to realistic. However, the rest of the characters did not bring that to life very well. With the exception of L and Ryuk, like they're okay. Like L is okay, Ryuk is really good. But anyway, third thing, I think that the way it's been shot is wonderful. Like the desaturated tones look really good. It's like got a very nice look to it. It
Okay, I have to agree with that. I have to back you up on that. I didn't consider that.
It looks like a Death Note movie.
Right.
Is the thing. Like it looks and it feels like the atmosphere is kind of there, but the thing that I have to say is lacking is the intelligence and the
of the director.
Well, not more so just like the lack of complexity, I guess. Like it's not
it's very simple.
Like,
yeah, I agree.
A lot of the stuff that was good about Death Note was the fact that it was very complicated, but it was still like at the end of the day, like at the end of every episode, you kind of understood how everything was going. Like everybody was sort of like. It was like a very elaborate game of chess, and it felt like everybody, like whenever somebody talked, you were hearing them like the inside of what's going on in their head, and it was sort of just put into words, like perfectly, very well transitioned.
Right.
Let's see, one other good thing.
You're being very nice, Kyo. You're being very nice.
Oh, I don't think this is a good movie at all. I feel like that there's like just the 3 things I've said so far.
Stay in your camp. Stay in your camp.
Stay in my camp? Why?
I don't like this movie anymore. I want to go to your camp, Jaian.
Oh. Let's see. Ryuk, the imagery. I think that's all I can think of. Like those 3 things are the only really good things that I can think of.
All right.
Other okay, one last thing. I think that the execution and the visuals are really well, and I think that's probably those 3 things or 4 things are the only good stuff I can say about it. I really want. Personally, I really want to like the movie, but there's so many things that keep me from liking this movie.
It's like going on a date with this girl, and you at first you think she's like really cute, right? And you're like, yeah.
You think she's really cute and really smart, but as you get to know her a little bit more, your let's see, not your standards, but like your level of enjoyment of being around that person slowly decreases, and then bam, just like no.
Then you bail on the date and you leave her with the bill.
Yeah, I don't know how your dates go in Canada, my friend, but I would never do that even if I hated the lady.
Oh, come on, it was just McDonald's. 2 for $2.50, Kyo.
2 for $2.50. I actually went to Seattle recently, and like it was 2 for $3.50. I'm like, screw you guys, I'm not buying from Seattle anymore.
All right, last question. That was great.
Yeah, sorry.
Great comment. No, that was amazing. Lolly Pizza on Discord asks, "Did you honestly like it? Was it worth watching, and why?" Okay,
I don't know. A
honestly,
lot of these questions are like, just did you like it or was it any good?
yeah, I know. Well, but I mean, like it was last minute, so whatever.
Right.
Did you? No, I didn't like it. And was it worth watching? I guess it'll be worth watching because I'll do this podcast and I'll get to monetize this podcast. No, I'm kidding, but no, I don't think it was worth watching.
Get some of your life back by getting some of the cash out of this video.
Exactly right. All right, that's my take on it. Your take, Keo?
It was okay. I
Okay.
don't think it was great. The scene that I felt was very Death Note like was the ending, like where it goes into
With
detail
that music,
of how
yeah, the music was great. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
I'm talking about like when Light is in the hospital.
I know.
So like at the very end, like when
Yeah,
he's
at the very end.
explaining how he got out of the situation where
That
he
was good. That
should
was
have
good too.
died. That
was
was
good.
very clever. It was very well executed. I was like, that's Death Note. That's what feels like Death Note. It's complicated, but it's smart. It makes sense.
It only took me 1 hour and 38 minutes to get here. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm just like, if they did more of that, it would make more sense. But like,
Right.
maybe if they like, honestly, I don't think anybody has the right to say like that a film is bad unless they can think of ways that would make the film better. You can't just say like this film's bad. There's no way to fix it. I think almost anything is fixable.
Oh, it's fixable. I mean, I there's a lot of mistakes with this one though.
Yes, I will agree with you. There are plenty of mistakes in this film, but ultimately, the thing that they could have done better is they could have
Everything.
worked on their they could have worked on their dialogue. They could have worked on their just their structure of the story. Mostly, I feel like the base of the problem is the writing and the directing. I feel like the director was not the greatest choice. The rest of the film is okay. You can sit through it. It's passable, but it's not great.
Okay.
Honestly, but if I were to say the way you could make this film better is if you took out if you changed Mia to be like, if you changed the relationship between Light and Mia to be an actually like a quote unquote abusive relationship, more so like that Light is using her. And that was like the whole reason that they introduced Rem into the series, because like that
As a
gave,
protector.
yeah, that gave Light an alibi, and that also gave like him an extra head, like an extra set of eyes in the Shinigami sense of things. So honestly, I feel like taking out Rem and Mia's like core aspects really hurts the film. So like if they maybe like put that back in and like turned honestly at this point like Relit Visions of a God is a better film because it summarizes the entire series, like season 1 wait, does it do the entire series?
Yeah, the Real Life Visions of the God is the first. It's like get the Death Note to L's funeral.
Okay. So like
the first season.
So like everything in the first season is summarized like in that film.
And super
And that's
well.
perfect. And it's really well done. It's like, how long is it? Like an hour and a half?
I think it's around. I think it's a bit more, but yeah, it's something like that.
Maybe 2 hours, right?
Yeah, it's around the same amount as this movie, so I get the point you're
Yeah,
making.
so yeah, like point is like it can be done, but they're not doing it very well. Like all they really need to do is just sit down, watch the show, take notes, or even just like heck, if they just made a remake of like Relit Visions of a God, I'd be so happy. It'd be a perfect movie. Just make it live action. That's the only real difference. And you'll probably get like an even better or bigger crowd for it.
Definitely.
That's really all I have to say about it, and I feel like if I went on any longer, I would just be rambling at this point. So
No, I feel
if you got anything else to say, feel free to like close this out or just keep going.
I think this caps it off pretty well. I think that we trashed around it pretty well. But I guess I want to take a second also to say that I usually am not like this on a podcast, and I'm usually very positive and I love the movie, and I'm very like into. I mean, go listen to any other anime podcasters. Like I'm a very like positive podcaster, and I'm very energetic and everything. But this movie just it just disappointed me, and that's the feeling I have towards it. Therefore, why I'm expressing it. So just know that, guys. That's gonna be it for this podcast. This was the very first time I'm recording in my new apartment, so I apologize for if the audio quality is not the best. I'll improve as I get a better setup. I'm literally recording on my bed right now, so that's the heads up for you guys. You can find me at JaianMusic on Twitter. That's gonna be my only plug for today. Keo, where can people find you and your stuff, and what's going on with Naruto Abridged?
All right, so since you brought up Naruto Abridged, I might as well just say it. Episode 3 is in progress, but there are some, we have had some hiccups recently, so there is going to be a bit of a delay, more than we were expecting. But we're going to try to, like, get, like, let's see, episodes 3 through 5 out. Like, maybe not this year, but the next 2 definitely next year. And I very much apologize for, like, the delay and everything, but we are doing our best to make sure that we have some content for you guys. And we do have sort of a small plan that we want to give out to you guys. We've got sort of a new series sort of thing, like that can kind of occupy you guys, like between Naruto Abridged episodes. Like we'll go into it more on my channel. But
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys can find me on DeviantArt, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram.
That one.
I actually don't give my Instagram out to anybody. Like it's mostly just for my personal stuff. But
Right.
Anyway, those are the places you can find me. Jaian will leave a link in the description or
Yes.
a link on the video here, and we'll see you guys next time. I'm gonna leave with like a couple of thoughts here. Like, wait, did you have something else you wanted to say?
I was gonna say at the end, but go ahead and finish your thoughts. No
Okay.
worries.
I will admit I am a little disappointed that the film didn't like just blow me away like the original Death Note series did. And it's hard to recapture that sort of thing. So understandably, guys, it's okay to be upset with this film, but don't direct your anger to like the people on Twitter. Like, just don't say horrible things. Like, if you want to say anything, be constructive with these guys. Just tell them like what you didn't like, what you did like if you guys actually,
you're asking people to be mature on the internet, Keo, and I understand your thoughts, and I totally agree with what you're saying, but it's I think you're asking for like candy in a vegetable store at this point. It's like you're asking people to do something that they're not able to do. Honestly, just put it this way: like, if you guys have hate and you don't like this movie, put it in the comments of this video and just express yourself. Okay, put it here.
Like, don't don't direct your anger to the guy, to like the director or the actors. Like, they were just doing their job, and like the director, understandably, not the best movie, but just don't tell the guy to kill himself. Okay, like that's not okay.
No, even if the movie's
nothing
about
along
Death
those
Note.
lines. It doesn't matter if the movie was bad. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave you guys with there's hope for good movies in the future. We just need to get the right people in. If you guys don't want to see like future anime movies, don't see them. Don't give them attention. Just leave them alone.
Exactly.
And
Well
so
said, Keo.
with that, I'm gonna let Jaian close out the podcast, and I think that'll wrap up our thoughts on the new Death Note movie.
Exactly. And I also wanted to quickly mention September is going to be Tokyo Ghoul month on JaianMusic. So I have covers podcasts about Tokyo Ghoul coming out all the month of September.
Ooh, yeah, that's
so you could check that out on my channel. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And I will see you in the next episode. And bye.
Bye.